computer. Awesome. Cool. So I just started it. So, hey, Joe and Jacob, thank you guys so much for taking some time to speak with me today. I'm Mark with Limo Marketer. Joe owns AZ Limo. He's based is it in Phoenix or Scottsdale? Which one is it?
We're now in Phoenix. We just moved down here a year and a half ago. We bought a 3.5 acre lot. We're just developing it and running limos and party buses right now.
Awesome. Dang, 3.5 acres? That's a pretty big piece of land, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. We knew it was going to be a challenge. It was an old florist. What was it, built in 1905 or something?
Early 1900s.
Early 1900s. We're currently renovating our office. It was the old ranch house. So, and then we're just tearing up all the land and making more parking. We're actually going to rent out a couple parcels to help cover our mortgage payment. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, I was gonna say that's 3.5 acres. That's a large area. I don't think you need that whole thing, I'm guessing. But
we have motor coaches and minis, but you know.
Oh, so you actually do need a ton of room then with the motor coaches.
With corporate right now, they're not moving as much. So
yeah.
So we're pretty much moving limos, vans, and party buses right now.
Nice. So how's it going there? I know. So right now, just for reference, it's August 26th, I believe, and so we're like 5 months into this thing. You know, what was like the impact on your business initially? Have things been picking up? Like what's going on?
It's been a challenge, Mark. Just like everybody else that was in the corporate world, corporate business, all of that, we slowed down.
Yeah.
We've found separate avenues to try to keep the wheels moving and doing different things. So we've kind of got more into the retail market. Whatever we can to get the wheels moving, get drivers jobs, and keep us going.
No, exactly. And Arizona actually.
From the start, when the pandemic hit. You know, a lot of brainstorming going on. I know I spoke to you quite a few times.
You were in like Mexico for like a few months, weren't you?
Just brainstorming the whole time, having conversations with Jacob and Kay. She does all our billing and stuff. We pretty much let the rest of the staff go and only kept a few drivers, but it was all about staying positive and continue marketing. And, you know, that's where we are today. And then you came up with this really good app called Limo Marketer that's very beneficial to us.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That was actually the next thing I was going to talk about. So what were you guys doing like prior to using the app as far as like with your sales and your follow-up? I know you were pretty good about that even before you started using this, right?
Yeah, but nothing like this. I mean, AZ Limo has always done a lot of retail work, and I've always done SEO and pay-per-click, so we always got a lot of leads in. We've always fortunately been busy, about 100 trips a day. That got cut down by about 75%. So we used to leave leads just sitting there. Like, to be honest, sometimes we'd be so late and you just delete them, or we'd be like the follow-up. Did we even have a follow-up?
There was really no follow-up in place. I guess it was a fortunate problem to have because we were so busy with other things that kind of got off to the side, and organically the leads were just coming to us. So we didn't really focus on chasing the business or making sure we locked it in.
Yeah. Yeah, massive lead volume. That's great because you guys do Google Ads, you do SEO, and you're ranked really well in your market, and so that's a pretty good problem to have. And so I'm guessing you probably weren't tracking the revenue from the different channels like SEO, pay-per-click. Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, we've been growing by like 25% since 2011, and then we got into motor coaches probably 2015. We got into motors, so we're getting all the corporate and group work. So if we got a good retail run, we'd be happy about it, but we weren't like really focusing on the retail client, which in retrospect we should have been, because it's probably about a 30% difference as far as profitability goes. What do you say? Or price difference, maybe price not profit, but price difference.
What, like retail is higher, you're saying? You can charge a little more?
Way higher. You know, you tack on all those fees versus doing an affiliate trip where it's just a, you know, a flat rate. You know,
Not only the fees and rates, but the cash flow aspect.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of companies that were in that net 30, net 45, some even in net 90s. That, you know, we were hitting cards right away, or getting those overcharges right away. So that's where our focus should have been, but we fell into the trap with everybody else and just kept going with what the market was.
Got it. Yeah, no, I never even considered that. With retail, I guess you get paid much quicker, right?
I'd say the day before. I mean, you get a deposit the day that you book it, and then we run the carts the day before, which is a huge benefit too. The affiliate game, these guys will pay you, like he said, 40, 60, 90 days, but they'll start picking apart your invoice 60 to 90 days past it, and then, you know, you
don't remember what
happened, and you have no leg to stand on, and you basically did the trips for free. So we're focused all retail. We might even pull out of the affiliate game completely, because that's where AZ Limo has always has had its success.
Yeah.
And locally, I think we have the best brand locally for retail client here. I don't think anyone can compete with us. No matter how shiny or black their buses are, or, you know, the finest fleet they think they might have. So
Interesting. Yeah, you always hear people talk about corporate, and I get it because you get more recurring revenue sometimes from that. But I never thought about those things you just mentioned. You kind of act like you're a bank in a way, you know.
yeah,
Those terms.
messing around with retail, you either pay, you get the reservation. If you don't pay, the bus isn't showing up. So
Yeah.
I think people forget how much money you actually lay out between driver payroll, fuel, car payments, rent expense, and then
Marketing, you know.
marketing, registration. I mean, it's like, so the affiliate work, I mean, they pretty much use you as a credit card.
Yeah.
Nickel and dime you down 60 to 90 days, you know, past. So
Yeah, but to get out of that, and you guys are way out of it, but you need to have marketing and you need to have sales, which brings me to the Limo Marketer app. When did you first start using it? Was it the beginning of June, right around, I believe?
I want to, yeah.
Yeah, it was the beginning of June.
Beginning of June.
Okay, cool. What was both of your like initial like impression of it? Like, as far as like, was it difficult? Where was it? Did it take your time to learn?
I think that's what made it great, was when you told us about it, when we first set it up, it was so easy. We figured it out in less than 2 hours.
I think the main focus of it, the main points are super easy. You were there every step of the way to help us out. I mean, there wasn't a day first couple of days that we didn't call you, hey, what about this? But the main focus of it was super simple. We're still tweaking it today. You know,
Yeah.
We brainstorm all the time about, well, let's change this lead. Let's change this template. Let's change this time frame. You know, we don't want them 2 hours. We want them 4 hours. We want them 7 days. Let's add another one. But it's super simple for the base of what was going on to get that lead in. And then we could take it from there, even if the system wasn't doing exactly what we wanted or to tweak it, we still got that lead in. So that was still a benefit.
Definitely. No, I remember when you guys first started using, I was still kind of working out a few of the kinks. And so you guys kind of helped me refine it a little bit. And so it's always great getting that feedback, because I see you guys doing something a little different than other people. And I'm like, hey, you can just look at their conversion rates, the lead to sale conversion rate. And you're like, hey, whatever they're doing looks like it's working. How did you guys feel about like the automated texting at first? Because you had never done anything like that, right?
No, we never did anything like that. I mean, first off, we didn't have any follow-up process at all. We would just get our quotes into Limo Anywhere and just email them back, and that would be it. We weren't even making phone calls. The best part about this is just it keeps the communication going with the people. I mean, hey, we never heard from you, or do you have any questions about your quote? And these people actually respond back. We're actually finding that people like the messaging better than the actual phone call. We still do try to make the first phone call, but I found is I look at their quote, I think about it, and I find a question I can ask, and I'll say, hey, I received your information. I did have one question before I can send you a quote, and I'll ask them the question, and I'd probably say 7 out of 10 times they're responding. I mean, if you could get the response out of them, you're way closer to closing them. So
Interesting. So, and I've actually heard that from a few other of my clients that are using this, that a lot of people just prefer the texting, right? And so what you're trying to do is you're just trying to get them to respond. You just throw out some easy question, and as soon as that dialogue starts, then it's like, okay, you got them on the hook. You can start moving into the close.
yeah, and then depending on what type of mood you're in, I mean, like if I'm in a good mood, I'll just start throwing the add-ons in there. We'll give you a complimentary bottle of champagne, red carpet, free upgrade to from a sedan to an SUV, whatever I feel like, because I don't want to lose that lead now, because I know I paid for it. I'm getting close to converting it. And at the end of the day, that's not costing me anything. I mean, the champagne's like $8-9. We got cold water and ice, which every limo company should have. But these people don't even know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just little add-ons, selling, that ad value, telling them the little things, we have a 24-hour confirmation, pickup reminder email, 2-hour text. I don't know
That's pretty much it. And to hit on his point earlier, depending on his mood, what he throws in there, it's easy for me to pick up and see where he left off. And that person, I take over, and that person texts or calls. All I have to do before I respond is scroll through what he said. Yeah, no problem. Joe already guaranteed you this. Here it is. Whatever. That's not a problem. And run with it. So there's no stones left unturned when it comes to that, as opposed to no follow-up or no central dialogue area.
And another attribute to the follow-up through this app is it makes you look so professional. I mean, there's not too many companies doing stuff like this. So when they're getting this follow-up, I think sometimes they're like, wow. Or they'll be like, oh, we still have to talk it over with our party or my fiance or whatever. But it's just keeping that ongoing line of communication, which I think is most important, that we've never done. And I don't know how many other operators are doing it. We didn't have the staff or the time to do stuff like that. So, and now we do through a simple app. I mean, I could be at home on the couch and somebody messages, and I'll just message them back right away. So it's great.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
Nice. Yeah. I use it actually for my business as well, because it's just so convenient, because as you were saying, multiple sales reps can all be logged in at once, and one person can, start the conversation, but another person can hop in, kind of see what's been talked about. And then, like Jacob said, jump in on that. You already know what he's offered. And I just want to point out that that's a great tip. You kind of have just a little like chest of goodies that you're prepared to hand out. Hey, how about this? Hey, how about this? We'll upgrade you. We'll throw in a little champagne. And it's good to have those and not be at your, maybe your lowest price, or always having something that you can say, hey, how about we throw this in? Let's get this done. And so that's great.
And I'm actually in shock at how many returning clients we've got from this app that we book through here. And I don't want to get ahead, but the review tool, I mean, is like amazing. So you have that follow-up, the people who had the good experience or whatnot.
Yeah.
When we started this, we had 39 Google reviews. We have 82 today.
No way. It's work. Wow.
So
That's crazy.
That's 2.5 months. And we went from a 3.9 to a 4.4. And
No way. That's huge.
most recent reviews, they're like, you would think we're the best limo company on earth. So, I mean, which we are.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're real reviews. We're not like our competitors who post on Facebook asking for good reviews. These are real sincere reviews. And, our drivers are really liking it. We've kind of changed the way we do things a little bit. They're doing really good in tips. I mean, we could do everything on our end, but what people need to remember is your chauffeurs or your front lines. They're the ones that bring it home.
Yeah.
So, especially when you're doing retail. I mean, there's really not that big of a margin for error with retail. I mean, people want money back if there's an issue, and you know you got to be willing to give that money back so you don't get that bad review, that one star review. You got to get over it and just
Well, more than just the reviews, you got to think of yourself as what would you want if you're in their shoes. And that's another thing that this app has helped us with. We can reach out to them easily when there's an issue because we have all their communication before. So if there was an issue, we can reach out to them right away. Hey, we'll settle this on Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're not as upset when that call comes in. Yeah, they want something back, but it's not going to be detrimental to the name or the brand in the future.
Exactly. And actually what you said earlier, Joe, regarding, hey, and this comes up, I'm sure, all the time. Someone's renting a party bus for an occasion. They're not making the decision right there. They're the one that's supposed to go out, get the pricing. And so they're like, hey, I have to get back to you. I have to talk to my party. Now, typically when that happens, I think most companies, they're like, okay, cool, they'll get back to me. But we know that many times they won't, right? They'll forget about you or something else will happen. And that's why it's so important to have some sort of follow-up, either manual or automatic, which obviously I prefer automatic. I'm guessing you guys do too, because it's so much to remember, right? If you have to send a text and do manual follow-ups when you can just drop them into a little sequence and in a few days, they're going to get a text, hey, it's Joe from AZ Limo, just checking in with you guys to see, where you're at with this rental. So that's a really good point as well.
To that point, he just called me the other day. Hey, do you remember this guy? No, would you quote him a month ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, and he ended up booking yesterday.
No way.
Neither one of us even remembered. Yeah. So, but it was.
And
Yeah,
I put it on the fly because obviously we're like a skeleton crew right now, and I have no shame in saying that because of what,
I think everyone is. Yeah.
I'm in the car and I take down like somebody's name and number. That's like the most important thing because I know when I pull over, I get home, I'm just gonna drop that into the Limo Marketer app because I send the quote and then I'm done. The follow-up's there, so because it does generate a lot of calls. And then I'll say, would you like to book now? Because you always want to try to close in the beginning, which is a little hard. But then when you send them the photos and the professional quote and everything through the app, it just looks super professional. And I just know a lot of people aren't doing that.
So that's another great point. I was just about to ask that. So that's one of the features is templates. And, it's you guys actually were the first ones. When I went in like a month and a half ago, I'm like, what the? And you guys have like 25 templates and they all look really professional. It's got pictures inserted in each one. So when they send out a quote, they text the quote. Do you email or do you just text typically?
Text. We don't send email. I don't know. I'm not keeping track, but I just feel like the closing rate is higher on the messaging now. I feel like, and you know what? There's what is that, Slack Technologies? I mean, there's some big corporations that's what they're going to, is messaging. They're basically eliminating email. I know Amex and Verizon are both using Slack, which is...
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And, that's what we're doing now. I mean, we're just, you really... you set this up really good and it's made a big difference to us, especially in the retail. I can't wait to see what it's like in October when we have all these leads and this app's keeping track of them. When back in the day, we were probably only closing 25%, if that. And that's if people would call or if their email even went through. So the messaging, if it's a good cell phone number, it's getting to them. That's another thing. How many times are those emails going into spam that you send?
Exactly. And I think everyone's just getting used to these days texting more. I had a real estate agent the other day. I was emailing her and she was like, can we move this to text? And that's like a business sort of thing. And it just like, hit home, especially after talking to you guys and several other people that, hey, everyone's getting used to texting now. And let's move the conversation there because the great thing is one thing, you can't tell the texts are automated. With emails, you can tell emails are automated because there's like laws where you have to like put an unsubscribe button, and so they might have that one day with texting, but right now they don't. And so that's why I think it's so powerful. Plus people get it right away, right? You know, they see it right away. Where email, it's so easy to, like, you know, especially when you get a lot of spam, you know, it's easy to miss. So as far as your close rate goes, what do you guys, well, you probably have a pretty decent idea. Would you say you're closing 10% better? You said you were around 25 or maybe 20% before you started using the app. What would you say you guys are at now?
Oh, I think what do we show right now? Just under 44% or something.
Yeah,
It's
that's wild. That's wild.
and
Like when you really think about the numbers, right? You know, let's say just for instance, you were at 100K a month and you're, you know, closing 44%, but you drop that down to 25, 20%. That could literally drop your revenue in half almost. So
yeah,
it's just,
it's huge. And I think that number is probably, to be honest, a little low because especially now with the Facebook, those go in there and those aren't closing high. So
oh, right, right, right. That definitely affects it. I never thought about that. That
Yeah,
is very true.
obviously there's a big difference between Facebook ads and
and people that are actually searching.
PPC because you know the people on pay-per-click are looking for something now, where Facebook is more for branding and maybe future. You know, it's good, it gets it in their head, but you know those numbers are a little jaded. I would say we're probably closing at about 45% right now, and we're getting fair rates. I mean, our competitors are really doing low rates. There was we keep track of that because some people will be like, "Can you match this rate?" I'll be like, "What's the rate?" And it's just like I would never even send a driver out for that. You know, good luck. I hope everything works out.
Yeah.
The limo breaks down.
I think the only ones that are doing a reduced rate is multiple bookings.
Yeah.
If somebody books multiple trips, you know,
Yeah.
we'll do a reduced rate on those trips or one of them or whatever we do. But just the standard, your everyday party bus, 3-hour limo or whatever it is, we're still getting fair rates on it. Absolutely.
You know, I think there's stuff you can add to this app. I think you had mentioned, which I'm going to work on. We're probably going to add videos of the vehicles, a quick 20-second clip. You know, we brainstorm on this all the time, but I think what you have here is very important for this industry because I feel the limo industry as a whole has always been a lagger when it comes to technology.
Yeah,
So it's
most definitely.
a little bit, right? So.
Yeah. And I think I was just talking to someone yesterday. I said, you should just try this out before she had 4 sales staff. And I said, you could probably get by almost with one less person,
Yeah.
you know, because of all the automation, you know? So awesome. So last question. So if you guys could improve anything about the app, and we're still working on it, but is there anything that you would like to see as an addition or any sort of constructive feedback?
I think I mentioned it earlier. It would be cool if there's some way you could add a quoting tool in there.
Yeah.
It would be like, because then it would be like all in one because we grab the quote from our reservation software, we'll copy and paste it, and then I'll drop it into Limo Marketer. So
Yeah.
basically eliminate a step.
Yeah. And automate that piece. Yeah. No, I need to find out how we can get that done.
We just, I don't know, I'm not the software guy, but
Yeah.
something out there.
Yeah, some softwares are a little harder to connect to. You have to get access to their API, and so that can sometimes be a little difficult. So anyways, guys, thanks for this. Overall, what would you say to other operators considering, you know, giving this a shot?
I think you definitely have to give this a shot. I think you have to continue to market. And I think this will give you more confidence with the money that you're spending on AdWords.
Yeah.
It sells itself. I mean, that follow-up, like I said, you'll just be sitting there and then you'll get a message, I'm ready to book. And like he said, it would be someone from like 3 weeks to a month ago that we quoted. That lead would have been dead. And it brings it back. We even do an offer after a certain time. How long is that offer we do? If we don't hear from them at all, I think it's like 7
days.
After 7 days, we'll send them a small percentage off. And we've gotten a few of those, not a lot, but if you figure that lead was dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's important to us. For me, I'm probably going to step up the marketing game even more because we can keep track of it now and it's all in one. So.
So that's the last part I wanted to mention. That's a huge piece of all this, and I think I mentioned it in the beginning. Is actually knowing what is the return I'm getting on my marketing dollars, right? It's like more important than anything, because I think a lot of operators, they just spend money and they just throw it down a black hole. They don't really know how much is coming back, right? Because they're not keeping track of that. And this kind of gives you that confidence, like, okay, we spent this much and we booked this much in business. Um, what if we spend double on our marketing? And we're in August right now. Joe is like one business owner who's always understood the importance of marketing. He's all like, even when we were in the middle of COVID, he's like, no, let's go, keep it going, keep it going. And that's probably why he's been growing at 25% a year since 2011, is because a lot of guys, they just don't see the value in marketing. And I think the trouble is, this in the beginning, your ROI isn't as good, and it can just take a little bit of time till you actually see it working. But once you do, it's like a snowball.
And then another thing you have to remember, these leads that you're converting through this app, these are your clients. They're not an affiliate's clients. They're going to return to you if you give them the proper service. So, I mean, one lead could turn into 10 trips. Who knows? I mean, it's happened to us already in the short time that we've been using this. So, it's very important.
Okay. Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Super valuable, a lot of tips, and keep crushing it. I know as the year progresses, it's going to get better and better. So thanks for doing the interview.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
I missed it.